Hello, wonderful people. Welcome to another super fun-filled edition of your favorite show, my favorite show, as a matter of fact, Helpline on HOMEBASETV. I am Victoria Beko Danso, and today the studio is boiling hot. I'm telling you, today's edition is something you wouldn't want to miss for anything in the world. But before I introduce my guests, and you are going to love them, I'm telling you, it's a promise, you will love them die. Let's go for a short commercial break. When we come back, we'll continue.
Bebre na ekoso wo my Ghana bi eye efin a adoko my Ghana e kwantin kwa hodo a enye e de ohaw ene abene ene etoda obuo ena ema adasama se wo pe ba bi editi ato e wo my Ghana mu a enyina yini asetena no so kwa na ko nenim ama nema bo eye den na wo de sa nema wani ohaw wanyina kira ya to abade ma mpanimfo so mo kɔhye mara na nyama mu engo emfa maye sanso na mpanimfo so aya pa mo so mo nda emiamia wodo ne afra wodo nyina no so omo wo nso ekosi sen anunti ana wo se wo hia me RSM Kofi do Lawson e wo dwumadi aya to ne din Ghana sisen adwoada ekopem fiada no mienu ekopem no nan na yentena se ne nyina Yaji kebi mami kebi amamodi ntino enyina yamfa ya no antum Ghana sisen e wose wonsi woke
Yes, you're welcome back from the break. It is the Helpline show on HOMEBASETV. My name is Victoria Bekoda, so you can also call me Akosia Sika Gold. Now, quickly to our moment of inspiration. God has stretched out his arms waiting for you, but here you are, buckling under the weight of frustrations, of troubles, of challenges, of problems, trying to solve it on your own. When you get to the point where you feel you are tired, you can go on no more. Please, the Father has opened his arms, widely opened for you. Go and lay all your burdens and your problems on his feet. Remember, when Jesus Christ was asleep in the ship and the storms were tossing, it was tossing up and down, the disciples went and woke him up and said, "Carest thou not that we perish?" So go to God in prayer, whatever it is that you're dealing with. When he woke up, he said, "Peace, be still." And there was calm on the waters. So go to your Father who has the power to command all the storms in your life to be still. That is our moment of inspiration on the Helpline show. Remember, God is your Father. He is a prayer answering God. Therefore, find your way back to him and he will speak and calm every storm in your life. We are going on a break. When we come, I'll introduce my guest to you, plus the topic for today. Stay right here.
I am Nana Dr. Michael Ejekum Ado. We are going to discuss the principles of success and wealth creation, honesty and reliability, hard work. Don't spend it all. After that, we'll discuss investment, how to invest. Then I'm saying that you don't have to forget your history, who you are, and where you belong to. Then we'll touch on the God factor. Finally, patience. All these ingredients will go into one being successful. Then, because entrepreneurship is the order of the day, we'll also discuss the entrepreneurial revolution in the 21st century, so that graduates and then those who will be watching home base would also arm themselves with the ingredients of becoming a good entrepreneur. There's going to be a series of both the principles of wealth creation, which addresses attitude, and that of the fundamentals of entrepreneurship. Home base is the action point. Stay tuned and go by the series. Thank you.
This is the Helpline show on HOMEBASETV. You're welcome. If you just joined us, you are at the right place at the right time. Today, I have an all girls who are beautiful. They are intelligent. They are eloquent. They are super fun to be with. As a matter of fact, I could go on and on and on and on using all the adjectives in my dictionary. It still will not get finished. I've been joined in the studio by the ever beautiful and affable, eloquent, Mrs. Gifty Preko Nyako is a public servant.
Yes.
Obafa,
Yes, my darling.
how are you?
Blessed.
Do you know anytime I see you, I don't know.
Hey,
The
do you
the
know
feeling-
anytime I see you, I don't know?
She's singing.
What don't you know? I love
What
the
don't
lyrics.
you know? Yeah. You know,
She's right.
welcome to Helpline.
Thank you.
I feel so blessed anytime I see you
Thank you.
because of what is in you. You are not just beautiful outside, but inside as well.
Thank you.
And for me, I always count it as a blessing when I meet people who are so knowledgeable, have a lot of depth, wisdom, the fear of God, everything. Hey, not just a one day.
Package.
What you be just a whole package.
I leave my name.
End of discussion. That definitely, last but not least, on your list, great beauty,
Yeah.
intelligent, full of
Yeah.
wisdom, full of depth. Mrs. Grace Erabna Arthur. Who now, because it's 60 years, and we're about 300 years. She's a beautician and an entrepreneur. Grace,
Oh, Baba.
Dimple,
Yes, darling.
Dimple Queen.
What would you?
I'm so happy anytime you accept our invitation to come on the Helpline. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Yeah, who don't see? Your friend will now Jamaican about you. That's say. God bless you.
Amen. God
All
bless
right,
you
so
too.
today it's going to be an all girls affair. As you can see, they are glittering with beauty, and let me tell you, they are not just beautiful on the inside, they're outside, inside, and also no. They are a whole package altogether. Enti me mama kwaba.
Yeah,
Edinburgh
also.
Helpline.
Yeah, yes.
All right, let's quickly look at our discussion for today. We're looking at communication. A lot of people have actually had their relationships broken down because of the lack of communication. Today, we'll delve into the nitty-gritties of the verbal, non-verbal, what are love languages, what do we need to sustain our relationship. Communication. The last time I read, I was told that communication is actually the oxygen of relationships.
Yeah.
I'll leave it to the experts. Gifty,
Yes, my darling.
what is communication?
So whilst I sat here and I was actually praying about what I have to say, what just came to mind was the first thing God did was to communicate. That was the first thing God did. After creating man, he had communication with man. He had fellowship with man. So he would ordinarily come to the Garden of Eden to come and visit his friend. What were they doing? Talking.
Commune.
Yes. Talking.
Hey.
That was also the lifestyle of Jesus. That regularly he was talking to the disciples in whichever way that they would understand. Sometimes I know they didn't even understand what this man was saying, but he communicated somehow. Okay. So communication for me is the open discussion of anything and on anything with somebody that you have an ordinary relationship with. So it shouldn't even be an extraordinary relationship like a love relationship or a fiancé, boyfriend, girlfriend. Anybody at all in your life needs to be communicated with. So imagine that we came here, we are in the studio, and we are all like, for the next 1 hour. How would the world feel? Like, what's wrong with these people? Are they
Okay?
Yes. It would be completely absurd that we'll enter this place and not even share pleasantries and just go mute. It would be absurd. It would be off. So communication is just the open discussion, talking about anything with anybody. That is in the broader sense. But narrowing it down to an intimate relationship or a trusting relationship, then communication, actually, as you said, is the lifeline of a marriage or a relationship. You don't talk? Really? So what are you doing? You are just too or what do we say? Dumb people living. Even they try to communicate with their hands and their face and their expressions. They try to do something.
The sign language.
Yes, that makes the other people feel wanted, feel loved, feel needed. All right? So communication is the lifeline of any and every trusting relationship. Take it out, it collapses. There are other things that are ordinarily considered as the tripods of relationship. Trust me, we can have the tripod, but what sits on the tripod is communication.
Okay, let me go to Dimple. You come and tell us what the tripod is. Say a co-pot. Say a ding. Or Dimple.
Yes, darling.
Per your understanding, what is communication?
Well, communication is when you are transferring information from yourself to another person. What you feel, what you want another person to understand about you, what you want to transfer to the person. It's what I term as communication.
Why is it important in marriage? Our focus here is on relationship, but marriage especially. Why is communication important in marriage? And Gifty, I'll ask you the same question.
As Gifty said, if there's a relationship without communication, it dies from there. It is important because if I'm not able to communicate to my husband my inner feelings, my pain, my joy, my emotions, then what am I doing to myself? I will die. Me, myself, I'll kill myself, I'll die. But if there is communication, I'll be able to communicate to him, this is the pain I'm going through, this is how I'm feeling this moment, this is what we are to do for our children, this is our plans for the future, this is what we want to do at the moment. Okay, you want to do this, hear me out. Let me also say mine. There should be a collabo. So if there's no collabo of communication, if there's no flexibility of communication, then I guess both of you are better off being single than to stay together. Because if you live together, and as Gifty said, even sorry to say, deaf and dumb, when they're together, they use their sign languages to communicate with each other. Meaning communication is important because someone has to hear me. I have to hear you. I have to know what you want. I have to know what to do for you. I have to have an assignment from you to carry on. So if you don't communicate with me, being verbally, gestures, letters, or signs, then I guess we are better off dead. Yeah.
Gifty.
Yes, ma'am.
Why is communication important in marriage? I go to work, I come home, I'm tired. I just sleep. Food is there, whether you eat or not. Do I get when it? Mr. Ma, sorry. Oh, no need for pleasantries. I mean, what's the importance? Why is it important that we communicate in marriage? What really does it do for us?
Great. So, you met this fine man. He was living alone and you were living alone. I guess he just didn't come and sit in the hall one day and did this. And you agreed to go and sleep in his bed. He obviously said something. He obviously invested words in you. He invested some kind of information in you. We are naturally wired by God to need the other.
Okay.
It's a natural inclination of man. So even when you have a fresh baby and it can't talk, it looks into your eyes. And when you can't hear the inner words, it cries to express the need. It's like, can't you see I'm hungry? I've been shouting for the last 5 minutes. I'm hungry. Nobody's listening to me. Please, somebody should give me food. Okay, so it is absolutely critical that you talk to your partner, or there is communication established in the relationship. It establishes God's own plan for a relationship. Therefore, a man shall live and whatever, cleave, and they shall become one flesh. How can they become one flesh if they don't talk? Sign language. So how are you going to care for the children? How are you going to plan for the future? Are there any projects? Are there any needs? How are you going to tell the other person that? For me, I have said that there are other tripods in the marriage, but what sits on the tripod, the cooking pot itself, is communication.
So what are the tripods?
So I would say that, you see, you can have, you can be patient and all. You can be kind. You can even be loving, okay, and all. But without communication, there is nothing cooking. Without communication, there's nothing cooking. It's just an empty coal pot with nothing sitting on it. You've got to communicate. And as she said, it's the expression of information. It's the expression of what you feel inside. So it can be intimate or not intimate, but you have to say something.
Okay. Let's look at the silent treatment. Hey, why are all of you doing? Because I know that at one point in time or another, each one of us have been guilty of
I won't cast the first one.
Meaning you can see 3 guilty faces here. And I know that women, as a matter of fact, are very fond of doing that. You know, I had a talk with some guys only. I wanted to know what makes men tick. And they were telling me that one of the things that really gets their goat is the fact that you'll be with your woman in the house, and then she starts giving you the silent treatment. Honey, what is it? Nothing. They say it's the nothing that kills them. There is something going on. You are giving him the silent treatment. Yet, when we ask,
It's nothing.
nothing.
Yeah.
Silent treatment. Is it a form of communication? Why do we decide to go on the silent treatment tangent and not go out and let them know this is what you did to me? I don't like this. So let me know what really does silent treatment do for relationships if we're talking about communication?
Guilty as charged.
I know all of us are guilty,
but I think I'm the most guilty person here, and I am not going to deny that. I'm not going to deny that, but it comes from the structure of the relationship.
Okay.
One, I would say that it comes from the temperaments.
Okay, we'll look at that one too.
It comes from the temperaments. If you're some claw like me, and you have a melancholic in your life, and you realize that he tempers down the sanguine part of your temperament, and sometimes adjusting is difficult. So in order to find a balance, you lean more towards your choleric side. That makes you a bit more quiet. But the silent treatment also comes in when we are frustrated. For me as a woman, when I'm frustrated at what I should actually tell you, I go quiet. When I reach the point of utter frustration and I don't know how to tell you exactly what I am thinking, feeling, or wanting to do, I go quiet, because then I feel like there is, what's the point? But what's the point?
To feel you'll not be well understood or what?
You have mentioned it. So for me, the silent treatment ordinarily comes in when the partners take positions in the marriage. The man is saying it should be this water.
So like
the woman is saying
entrenched positions.
Yes, it should be this juice. Okay. and they are not trying to mix. Okay, then let's pour some of the water into the juice. Probably we'll have something else. Juice water. It will not be as nice, but we will manage. But when the man takes an entrenched position and the woman also takes an entrenched position, communication naturally breaks down. It's the first killer of communication in marriage, entrenched positions. Secondly, when her emotions are ignored. Women are emotional beings. Whether the men will accept it today or never. That is how God created us. He created us actually as a need for them, so that they will need us. So we you understand? We are a need for the men. And so our emotions are naturally wired around our men. And that is why when a woman falls in love, she's all flowery and all over the place with a person. And then when you are on the side, you go like, nah, boko there. Because you don't seem to understand what
she's going.
Exactly. When she expresses her emotions fully, stretch it out to its limit, and you shut it.
This is just by the way. Is that the reason why men find it so difficult forgiving their women when they cheat? Because I'm told that when women sleep with men, it isn't just a physical thing. It involves their emotion. And so when a woman decides to, she makes a conscious effort to cheat on her man, it was her emotions she put
carried out
in there. Unlike that or of the men who say, oh, it was just a physical thing, nothing was involved. Do you think that is why men take an exception to that?
It's pointed at you.
Because I actually asked this question because you stressed on the fact that women are emotional creatures, and so everything that we do around our men is hinged.
Because we go all out. We go all out. When it comes to emotions, we speak with our emotions a lot. I will give you a silent treatment when, as Katie said, I'm communicating with you. You are not getting it. Because I don't want to hurt you with words, and words are powerful, I withdraw. I'll keep quiet. I'll be in my shell.
Because you won't even understand me.
That is it. Whether I paint it black or white, you won't get it. And since you know Dimple is the talkative type, when I go quiet, you should not, there's something wrong with her. There's something eating her up. Then you will start examining yourself, what you did, what happened, for her to give me that silent treatment. So if a woman is cheating, if you, the man, should feel that pain, it means the communication wasn't there and you pushed her into it. And as she's there doing it, she also thinks of what she didn't do that pushed her into it, and she goes all out to give her maximum effort or communication to the person who is also communicating with her the language she wants to hear. That is why they feel bitter.
Gifty.
Yeah.
I know you have something you want to add to what Dimple is saying.
She has just nailed that coffin that must go to the cemetery.
That's all.
See, if you ignore a woman's emotions, you do that to your detriment. Trust me.
That's it. You dig your own grave.
Because she will tell you how she feels, either verbally or non-verbally. And so there is an issue, and she's trying to tell you with her emotions. It's like, can't you see? And you ignore it, or you shove it. She goes quiet. And then as she said, trust me, no married woman ordinarily cheats. It is, I think it's a very difficult decision to take, to cheat.
Yeah.
And so for a woman to step out of her marriage, it means a lot has gone wrong in the marriage that probably she can't even discuss or talk about.
Or even when she talks about, you don't get it.
You don't get it. Because you are at different wavelengths in the relationship. He is here and you are there. And you can't seem, the lawyers would say, to be ad idem, to to bring your minds together.
Because
even in a contract, an ordinary contract, the law says you have to agree. This one, you have to agree. So if there's no agreement, you can't even form a contract.
The Bible even says it, that unless two people agree,
They can't work together.
they can't work together.
So it becomes the very basic thing that a relationship. Trust me, a relationship needs love, but needs communication more to forward the love.
Yeah.
When communication is not there, the love naturally starves to death. To die. Maybe there is no way it will survive. Okay. But I think that coming back to the silent treatment issue, in as much as we know, women, I know that it is not the best way to go. Sometimes, as you rightly said, it is to save the words, to bruisen the man's ego. All right? Because speaking the truth will break him, will shatter him. Telling him exactly what he's doing that is not good, proper or correct in the relationship may bruise his ego. I am not saying that spare him the truth, because you spare the rod to spoil the child. Don't spare him the truth. But sometimes telling the hard truth to a man who doesn't want to listen pushes you into the corner. And you tell yourself, well, and then you shut down.
Okay, let me ask you this. How should communication be done? Because still somewhat looking at the silent treatment, there are lots of men who like tagging their women as, you like nagging. You're nagging too much. But for me, I feel like, I won't repeat myself. But it's because you're not listening. It's because what I want you to do, you are not doing. That is why I keep on harping on it. And so when it happens that way, okay, let me keep quiet so that you not tag me as a nag. Do you think that is what also contributes to this silent treatment thing?
Of course. You see, and the men, the way they like hugging on to this nagging thing, it's just shut up mechanism.
I'm telling you.
It's like, must you nag about this? And I go like, what is nagging? I mean, what is the generic description of a nag? Unless, of course, you give me the Proverbs description of who a nag is. The last time I checked, I wasn't nagging. I was just trying to tell you what I think is not right. Okay. A woman would not ordinarily also nag if the man is doing the right thing. So you have said one thing that, if you are listening, I won't repeat myself, and it wouldn't be considered as a nag. Okay. That aside, apart from the listening, if he's doing the right things in the relationship, you also talk. And you wouldn't have the need to repeat yourself for it to be considered as a nag. Isn't it right? So the men get it wrong. And they rather want us to correct their wrongs. Really?
No, they want us to carry the wrong.
Carry the wrong. And correct it.
Yeah.
At the same time. It doesn't work like that. In such a circumstance, see, I will go silent. I will go completely quiet. All right? And then secondly, when the man is hard to communicate with, it's like you have to measure your words. It's like you are walking on eggs in the home and you are not supposed to break any. Okay, you have to measure your words. You can't be careless with words around the man.
You have to weigh them.
You can't express yourself.
Everything, it's like you say something and then 1 year later there's an argument and I knew you would do this because the last time you go like, oh, and something so benign, something that, I mean, in your conscience, probably you even put something on your status, you were just joking about it and the man is all uptight.
Over it. And you see, he won't even tell you that, oh, I saw something on your status, I didn't like it. And it's like, please, I'll go quiet. Because then I wouldn't know how to live not to offend you. I'll be careful around you. I'll be careful around you like I'm careful around my boss. You understand?
Not that my boss is not good, no. But ordinarily,
of
we
course,
have
it's
a
a
boss.
formal relationship.
I'll be formal with you.
Mm.
I will tell you exactly what you need to hear. And the excesses I keep to myself. So if I used to make you laugh, I'll stop. Because then I don't know the joke I will crack or
bring up a fight.
No, that you might think I overstepped my bounds with you. And especially when ego is in there, all right? And the man feels that he should be in control of the relationship. And unfortunately, you are like me, who is all over the place. And the man is not feeling that. Then he feels disrespected.
Gifty, let's go for a quick break.
Sure.
When we come, we will talk about ego and communication. How do I get my message across?
On easy bed feathers.
Without stepping on your toes, without offending my partner. And since we are women, we are taking it from the point of view of women. Should I always be careful and measured in my words? Should I always be on my best behavior, especially when I want to communicate with my husband? We will be right back after this break. It is the Helpline show on Home-Based TV, and we're talking about communication in marriage. Stay with us.
Other for your friend is CEO slide. So man be a bekoswa. Nejina ne manfo akufama ene ahokeka. Kabi mami kabi amamwodi. Ena obi atumi kira na dwen ema oman no ekoso. The same thing home-based television network. Yakofa dwumadie bi aba your friend oman enkoso. Man koso trasia. Ye seasoned journalist, politician, amanyofo ana kukudam ne anintrefo ebesinkuda. And somewhere ko twiri ko brema na watwiri mu nyina. Ana bepamu kumasibre. Man koso beba wakwan so. Miminda way ene miminda bia. Efi anopa ne no nwotwe so ekosi ni no ndu so. Man koso ayaminu mienu asede.
Welcome back from the break. It is still your favorite, my favorite show, the Helpline show on Home-Based TV. My name is Victoria Bekodan, so you can also call me Akosia Sika Gold. I'm in the studio with my girls. Today is an all-girls affair, and we're talking about communication in marriage, how important it is, all the dynamics that we need to know when it comes to communication. Before the break, we were talking about ego and communication. We've been told that sometimes how you say something, where you say something, the body language that even accompanies what you say is very, very important. But in the confines of marriage, should some of these things be looked at? That is what we want to know. So, Dimple, Gifty has said a lot. Before we went on the break, she was talking about ego. When maybe you are a man of so. But I can't express myself to you because I may say something that might seem offensive to you in trying to bring across my grievances or anything that I feel is wrong with the relationship. How do we deal with ego and communication?
Well, communication itself, when you want to put it across when it comes to marriage, you should be tactful and watchful.
Okay.
It's not everywhere that you communicate.
All right.
And it's not everything that you communicate. There are some of the things that it's good to hear. Yes, I say this, boys. You have to weigh your man. Okay. If along the line he start growing that ego in him, that manhood pride sets in, and you know your stand as a wife, you don't cross that boundary. You will communicate all right, but in a very nice, joyful, loving way.
Should it always be so?
Yes, it should.
There can't be a time where you let go.
You know, when it comes to men, they have this two attributes in them.
Okay.
They are lions and they are lambs. Yes. So when the communication is being done and you realize the lion spirit of your husband is raised high, you have to be sober.
Okay.
It's either you communicate or you don't communicate at all. And if I say yes, you have to go sober all the time. A journey agent means she a precope. And so man who so na hand tino a pia. As a virtuous woman, as a virtuous wife, go sober. Just keep quiet and let him
rant and rave.
Yes, all he wants or all out. Then when he is calm, that is when your woman power also come in. And at that point in time, when you are also shouting or you are also nagging or you are communicating to him in your own way, because he has realized he will be super to listen to you. And that is when the lambness of the man comes in. So yes, you can also go all out and be shouting. You can go out, be nagging or but saying, is it in a respectful manner? Or because his ego is out, you also want to show that you
are also there.
Yes, you also have that lioness in you. When it sparks like that, nobody hears anyone's language. No communication is done here.
So how you go about it is very important.
How you go about it and where you go about it is very important. You can't be in front of people or your friends, and when your man starts showing ego, then
you respond.
You respond in that manner. That is why in the first place I said there are certain things you hear and there are certain things you listen. You just listen to it and you let it go. And yes, I want to make a but at that moment, just give him that respect. Let his ego. And when you become sober and quiet, that ego that rises in him will automatically start reducing its battery. Because you realize you didn't retaliate. So you start going down. And if it is church, or you've gone for a party, funeral, and he starts showing his mannerism in that manner, and you keep quiet. It's not like you can't talk back, but you keep quiet. And when you get home, in the comfort of your bedroom, you give it to him boot to boot. At that period, he will be sober. But if you get home at the hall, the kids are there, then you throw you back out somewhere, then some phone and I would do on. Then was a seminar I would do on. As it means me come out then it sparks again. At that point in time, believe you, Miska, it's better off keeping quiet. Because at that point in time, any man will go wayward, will go way high. So where you do your communication, how you go about it, and the form of doing it is very much important. It's very, very much important. Because if I want you to listen to me, I should be calm for you to listen to me.
Okay.
So after doing all your mannerism outside, and we get home, I just feed you. Make sure you are calm. That lumpness comes into you. Then I sit you down. But you see, you're here once in a month. You know what? I'm a woman. I'm weak. Even if I did this wrong outside, at least you could have pulled my dress. I would have understood you. But for you to show that, yes, you are my husband, so you have to shout, you have to do this, and for your sister to know that, so when you start letting him know his flaws, automatically,
what if you meet someone and while you do this or say what he did was right, so you have no right to even come and register your displeasure? In that case, in that scenario,
If I talk to you and you don't listen, that is when the silence treatment comes in.
Then we go silent.
Yeah. I will definitely
Shall
go
we
silent.
have it for the silent women?
So you are advocates of silent treatment.
Yes, you just go that silent because when you be one year.
Asema wo beka no.
Just say as if you be two amano. Who dim say your phone go to amano so be men na nim say phone go to amano. And for the next 3-4 days, and crying in a
He won't let you hear word.
So I'll just be quiet.
And you won't hear peace.
I'll just go quiet. And for me, prayers works for me. Honestly, for me, prayers works for me. If I tell you, let's buy this orange flowers. When we buy, we'll save money. When we buy, the kids will be happy. I'll be happy. When we buy, the home will be joyful. When we buy this, then I've given you all the advantages of me buying
the orange.
And you also insist that the green smells good. And the green will make people know you are rich. The green will bring you out and all that. Maka, we see or a green and you go and buy your green. I won't use it. Go and buy your green. I'll be quiet about it. And there will be no peace. And if there is no peace, we'll be not crying day.
Gifty.
That finished me.
Gifty.
Yes, Mom.
Communication.
Yes.
In as much as we're talking about silent treatment.
Yes.
Okay, so apart from we trying to get through to our men, and some of them becoming so hard-hearted, you like talking too much, you like nagging, when all we want is to be heard. If all else fails, is that the only way to go? The silent treatment?
No.
So let's hear it.
No. For me, the silent treatment is not an end in itself.
It's a physical one.
It's a means to an end.
Okay.
And the end is to be heard. The end is to be appreciated. The end is to be loved. That is why you are silent. Because you are on a solo war. Get the attention of your heartbeat.
Yeah.
That what you are doing is me, or it is not right. But see, the ordinary Ghanaian man has been raised and socialized with a lot of ego. Bemansu. Okay. These kind of what do we call them?
Bottling up their emotions.
Bemansu. And na bema de so ndidra. Na bema de wo fear aha. So men, our men have been raised with a lot of ego. We should know that it has a lot of cultural antecedents. They have been socialized to be that. So if you're an ordinary Ghanaian woman like myself, and you know, sitting here, then you should know that you will find one, of course, of them with a lot of ego. But after the silent treatment, you have people who are also interested in the relationship. Your families are interested in the relationship.
Yeah.
And that is why ordinarily you have 2 marriages in a Ghanaian context. So you have the family one to show and for them to indicate, okay, their willingness to support both of you to make it in the marriage.
Yeah.
And so they are your fallback mechanism. So if all else fails,
you go to them.
Yes. Yeah.
But most of the time, we advocate that you should, especially with the women, before marriage, you know, the counseling and all that. And
you would die. No, seriously. Okay, so let me just establish a simple line. And it is that. So you are doing all that you can. He's not listening. Talk to his friends. War is you if your man has no friend.
He has friends.
And it's not always me.
Gifty. He has friends. But there have been lots of scenarios, you know, by virtue of what we do.
I know.
You've gone to disgrace me. You actually went And disgrace
to
me.
discuss me
To discuss me
with my friends.
with my friends. How about that one?
Then go to your osofo or your imam.
I don't call them bobo.
Oh,
So for them be preaching. Or them be preaching. Thank you.
then go.
I'm sorry, Nekra Mejai. Mejai show.
Then your fallback mechanism, because he can't say no to his family. And when it gets there, then he must know that it's pretty serious. Because ordinarily I wouldn't wake up and call my mother-in-law and say that Asem wo. No, until there is really Asem. Mama-in-law doesn't get involved, and Mama doesn't get involved. All right, so they are our fallback mechanisms. So after the silent treatment, please break it by using your fallback mechanism. Go to where every man has where he falls flat. And if it is not his priest, if it is not his imam, if it is not his mother, it definitely must be someone.
Yeah.
The boss. Somebody that he goes soft for. Please. Don't keep it, because you see, the longer you keep the silence, the more devastating the relationship becomes. And honestly, the more irreparable it becomes. So every day you pull a strand of the marriage or the relationship out. Every day with the silence, because he becomes perplexed at a point, not knowing what to do. Okay, so keep it as a very short interim mechanism, not a perpetual mechanism to undo him, because that will undo him actually.
Yeah.
All right. And then I have realized that when you keep the silent treatment for a long time, the enemy gains a footstool. So that is when he plants the third party.
Okay.
All right. Because you are not communicating, and we are wired to communicate. So he will go to the next source of comfort. And the next source of comfort could be anything. It could
Or
be-
anyone.
It could be anything or anyone. All right. So you can find some kind of addictions now coming in. Addiction to phone, addiction to TV, addiction to going out, addiction to drinking, addiction to all manner of things. All right. So communication is what it is. Please express it. Talk about it. It won't kill you.
Express it. Talk about it. It won't kill you. This is the Helpline show on Home Base TV. We are going for a quick break. When we come back, we'll continue with the conversation. Stay with us. Welcome back from the break. This is the Helpline show on Home Base TV. My name is Victoria Beko Danso, and I'm in the studio with Mrs. Grace Erabana Arthur. She's a beautician and an entrepreneur, and Mrs. Gifty Preko Nyako, a public servant. We're talking about communication in marriage, especially from the perspective of we women. So it's an all girls affair today. Why communication is considered as the lifeblood of relationships, the silent treatment, the dynamics, the do's and don'ts. Before we went on the break, you were talking about how some men behave as if they are the be-all and end-all, and why we don't have to sustain or prolong those silent treatment thing. So let me ask you, what are the avenues or the dynamics of communication? I know we have verbal communication, non-verbal. When you're trying to get through to someone and words are not working, are there other non-verbal means we can use? What are they?
You can use prayers.
Okay.
You can use prayers. When you communicate with him and it's not working, as Gifty said, if you mention it to the mother-in-law, if you mention it to pastors, if you mention it to everyone, and he's still adamant, Nujina, my dear, the foundation of the marriage itself should be Christ. Just, you can do it in your washroom, bathroom, bedroom, anywhere. Just communicate with anything that belongs to him, and pray your heart out to God. Also, man, a such a You blessed me with this man. You know we are compatible. That is why you brought us together. This is the problem at hand. I am trying to communicate with him the best way I can. I have said all that I need to say. I have done all that I need to do. And yet, it is that is it. Nujina. You said the king's heart is in your palm. You rotate and you turn it in the direction of your choice. God, this is my husband. You mention his name. He is the man you gave him to me. I can't hold it. I can't hold on it any longer. I can't do it on my own. Come in. Work through him for me. Whatever I'm trying to communicate to him that is not getting into his head, please, let him come by himself. Let him walk to me and tell me that, Mama, the orange flower you said we should buy. I was thinking, let's buy the small orange flower for the meantime, and later we'll maybe buy the bigger one you were talking about. Let me know you are still good. Let me know you are still in my marriage. You are the overall boss in this marriage. Commit your husband into his hands. Commit the situation into his hands.
So yours is prayer.
Mine is prayer.
Gifty, non-verbal communication.
Prayer plus the expression of whatever you are feeling. Trust me. After praying, the Bible says faith without works is faithless. It's nothing. So after praying, you must do something. Okay. Dates are very important in every marriage. All right? So there are birthdays, there are anniversaries, there are peculiar dates that are very important for you. Please, they are not just dates and seasons that comes and goes. They are opportunities. So he's not listening to one particular thing.
Yeah.
Birthday is coming, or birthday has come. Oh, it's your birthday, whatever. Let's go out. Or marriage anniversary. My love, it's been 20 beautiful years with you. But I have a challenge. I have endured this for the last 5 years. And it's hurting me.
Gifty, our time is almost up. But can we use love languages to communicate?
Yeah.
Exactly.
Tell us, like, 1 minute, 30 seconds love language. Bobibia tofa efamaye. And then Dimple too will.
Oh, no, Odoka Sani, they say Obia the uncle. But you see, it depends on the person's love language. So if the person's love language is gifts, then you must be doing a lot of it. If the person's love language is sex, then you must be doing a lot of it. If the person's love language is dating, okay, like going out or having fun, please do a lot of it. Whatever his love language is, increase the quantity.
So yours is to find out what the love language of your partner is. You must find it
before you can express it.
Okay.
For him.
Dimple.
Yes, all right.
Love language. When all else has failed, we've talked about prayer, we've talked about you trying to get through to him, using third parties, people he respects a lot and all that. What role does love language also play when it comes to communication?
Well, it does. And in the aspect that if I
in
go,
1 minute.
If I go silent, and my love language is gifts, my love language is jokes, and you start showing me those things, you mellow me. You weak me. Okay. So I'll start drawing closer to you. A man's love language can even be food, his favorite foods, or different type of food. With you, Jumaba, you've prepared a very delicious food or something unique that you don't normally prepare. When he's eating without even communicating with you, the manner of taking the food, you admire him for that. And when you keep on doing that, he will definitely ask you, what is happening? Why all these different foods nowadays? Why do you... Some man's language can even be your clothing. If you start wearing skimpy clothes in the house...
If you know that is what he loves.
If you know that's what he loves. it will start drawing him closer to you. I mean, when I go silent, that's when my skimpy clothing gets
You are
plus.
not.
So she's very wicked, as a matter of fact. you giving brother man silent treatment.
Yeah.
For 3 weeks.
And then you still wearing this camp
Yeah.
looks and dresses.
That's it.
Such wickedness.
Yes, you get some very, very sweet fragrance on you all the time with your skimpy clothes here and there.
So you're practically tormenting somebody's
I am communicating. I'm communicating. Communicating. And you definitely come close and ask, what's up now? What the goodness? And now that is when my woman power comes in. Then I also put it across.
All right. Okay. I think we need to do a part 2 of this discussion. As a matter of fact, I know that lots of men are chomping at the bit. They wish they were given the opportunity. Don't worry, guys. We'll also give you the opportunity to come and tell us what your take on communication is. Before we go, what I will say is that, Esther in the Bible, when her people were threatened, what did she do? She went before God first, and afterwards, she went to her king.
That's it.
And what happened? Bible says, as soon as the king set eyes on her, she obtained favor in his sight. For me, communication is very important, and my sisters have said it. But when all else fails, go back to the manufacturer. He's the one who manufactured your husband. Go back to him. You can't have a Samsung having a fault and going to an Apple store.
No.
So repair parts. You understand? So do all you can to communicate, and communicate well, taking into consideration where you find yourself, how you go about it, your husband's love language. And I know that in the same vein, you can flip it on the side and relate it to yourself if you are also a man. Communication is very important in every relationship. It cannot stand without, just say, if there is no communication, the relationship or the marriage can never stand. Thank you so much for making time to watch today's edition of the Helpline Show. I know the guys will get the opportunity to also come and give their take. My name is Victoria Beko Danso Akosia Sika Gold. Until we come your way again next week, it is your helpline, my helpline. See you. Bye-bye.